welcome. My name is Kendra und ich bin deine Lieblingsausländer coming back to you with another video. And what you're witnessing right now is history in the making. It's a sunny day in Hamburg. So if you remember my Hamburg vlog, you remember that like I love to complain about the weather here, and I love doing that so much that I moved here so I could do it every day. Aren't you guys excited for me to complain about the weather every day? But yeah, anyway, Hamburg weather aside, I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about what life has been like in Germany for me recently, because you know, I took a little hiatus. I was finishing up my master's degree, moving, life was changing. Anyway, moving on, new chapter, new city, new me, new vlog. Yeah, it's now been about 3.5 years since I moved back to Germany, and like I've just been thinking a lot about how much things have changed, and I've entered so many different chapters in the last few years. And let me tell you, it's not easy going through your quarter life crisis while you're living abroad, while you're transitioning into different chapters and everything. And that's not to say like I think my experience is completely unique. I think everybody goes through, a lot of people go through a quarter life crisis, especially my generation. I don't know anybody who's not experiencing it. It's a rite of passage at this point. There's been a lot of changes, like internally, externally, and that's just something I wanted to reflect on. I mean, the first major change is I'm done with my formal education. I don't know, there's something about that that's both comforting and also a little bit like saddening, because I spent most of my life in school, but I'm also at the point where I'm like, I've experienced it, I had my fun, and it's time to really just fully explore who I am outside of that lens. I did the student thing in New York when I was doing my bachelor's, so doing my master's, it wasn't like it was a new experience in that sense, but it was just new in the sense that I'm doing it in a foreign country, and it was good, but it definitely needed to end. So that's one thing. Now I'm like big girl, 9 to 5 again, and you know, it's an interesting transition, but it's also one where I'm realizing like you need to have hobbies. And I've just been slowly trying to get back into having hobbies, because I mean, I had different kinds of hobbies when I was studying, and I had different kinds of hobbies when I was in New York, and now it's like, okay, I have to find hobbies all over again. And I find that like it's a must, and a lot of people in Germany like are all about their hobbies, which I really appreciate. So that's also what I love about living in Hamburg, is that when you want to find something, more than likely you'll find it. Like for example, I love paint and sips because I can't paint. I cannot paint to save my life, but paint and sips are like a combination of something I like, which is wine, and something that I want to like or want to be good at, which is painting. And I was looking for them when I moved here, and I couldn't find them up until 2 months ago. I found like the first paint and sips here. So they're just like some things like that that I'm really interested in, that I can actually find and do here, and I really enjoy that. But talking about like the external stuff, there's a lot of things that are changing right now in Germany, politically. So now with the government making it easier for people to get citizenship, obviously that's good news for a lot of expats, but there's also like growing anti-immigration sentiment in Germany, which thank God there also have been a lot of protests to counter that, but it just makes me worried that like that sentiment will continue to grow and like polarize the country. And I don't necessarily have fear of mass deportations and things like that. Like I don't fear for that for myself, but I have that fear for people who have been here for generations, who call Germany their home, who have never known another home. You know, I fear that that growing sentiment will like spread to other people and make it more of a hostile environment in Germany. It makes me really sad, because I think Germany is a great country. Obviously there's always been polarizing topics. Obviously there's always been xenophobia, racism in parts of this country. To be confronted with it and see it become so prolific is really, it's saddening me, especially coming from the States. I don't think it'll necessarily cause like huge political problems, but more of like social problems, because I feel that when we started to see more of that in the States. People felt more comfortable expressing like their racist opinions and the xenophobia and all of that, and it's a lot. It's like on one hand such a big win, but on the other hand, oh gosh, I don't want to see Germany on the wrong side of history, but that's how it's been. Other than that, like I said, the quarter-life crisis is an interesting period in anybody's life. Like being out of the university environment and all of that, you kind of like have a less idealistic picture of like the place you live. So now I just kind of experience Germany as a regular person who lives here, who works here, just lives my life here. And I think that sometimes, like if I go for too long without experiencing something new, I sometimes get kind of jaded. And I don't want to feel that way. I feel like I'm too young to feel jaded. I want to explore more, especially northern Germany, because I haven't explored a whole lot. I've been to a few cities up here that I really enjoyed. I don't want to feel jaded. I want to like still enjoy living here and everything. That's a goal of mine. Even if it's just within Hamburg, just explore more. And, you know, kind of have that feeling of when I first moved here, or when I first came here, and everything was just so new to me, because there are some days where I'm just like, oh yeah, I live in Germany. Like I forget, I completely forget. It's just life now. It's not like, oh, I live in Germany. It's like, oh, I live in Germany. This is just where I live, you know. Despite everything that's going on, and despite how much things have changed here, I feel like it's a privilege. It's a privilege for sure to live here. Comment down below if you are also in the midst of a quarter-life crisis. Funny story though, I read that quarter-life crises usually don't end until you're in your mid-30s. So yeah, there's that. I don't feel it now. Right now I feel good, but maybe it'll come back in like 2 months or 3 months. Thanks for listening to my little rant. I'm really looking forward to making more content this year, showing you guys a little bit of my life here in Hamburg, some more of my travels. I'm going home for the first time in a year and a half, and yeah, that's also going to be crazy. So you will have a front row seat to the reverse culture shock that is going back to the US. But yes, thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.